All right. Hello, everybody. I want to kickstart the meeting because some people are already dropping off. Maybe they think we're not doing anything. So we were waiting for them. So maybe we're going to kickstart this in earnest. I want to welcome you once again to another week in our seminar series. The focus is on providing you a roadmap for success for graduate school applications, particularly for those of you who are interested in studying abroad. In my interfacing with a number of other students, found out that many students, have that desire, but they do not necessarily have a roadmap. So that's why we have provided this opportunity to bring in facilitators and provide you also with resources that will help make your journey a little bit easier. There's a saying where I come from that you should follow the people who know the way. All right. In local parlance, we say follow who know road. That is, you should follow people that do know the way. So you can save yourself some stress and save yourself a lot of running around. And this week, we're going to be moving on. Like we mentioned 2 weeks ago, now we are going into details. Last week, we talked about a statement of purpose, writing a personal statement or motivation letters. And we're also provided with resources. There's a link available. If you are part of the WhatsApp group, you should see that link already. All right. That link would help us collate, all right, your statement of purpose. I want to put it up also in the chat as well. So in case you've not seen it, you will find it. You will find it there. If you know Piotr, Amos, and Sekamaya, Peter, tell them that we started. All right, so they can join the game. I'm guessing they left because they felt there was nothing going on. All right, so the forms are there. If you have your statement of purpose ready, make sure you upload it before the end of the meeting. The goal is to help pair you with mentors, pair you with people who can, go through that document and point you in the right direction. All right, let you know, okay, this is what you need to improve on, and things like that. All right. So today we'll be moving on. Like I mentioned, we'll be moving into how do you write and obtain recommendation letters. All right. One of the very important things in your graduate application are recommendation letters. In fact, I would hazard to say that most times you are either going to get into a program or not by the strength of your recommendation letters. All right. I've been privileged, to have very high-ranking people write me recommendation letters. See it more like I don't know if you are familiar in the African setting. The acts. I mean, it's not about what you can do; it's about who you know. All right. So your recommendation letter, it's a very good way, to put a very good foot forward. When people see a recommendation letter from somebody who is, well renowned, it gives you leverage. But beyond that, it's not just about who is writing; it's about also what is the content. All right, on the inside of that letter, because somebody who is well renowned can write a shitty letter, and you end up, you end up putting a different perspective in the mind of the graduate application reviewer. All right, so you want to also, pay attention to the things that are written in there. So today we have Miss Mfum. I don't ensure I'm not mispronouncing Mrs. Esnart Mfune. All right, who is going to be facilitating the session today. Unfortunately, she's not going to be live, but she has graciously sent us a video, which is we are going to be taking a look at. And our gracious, let's say, seminar facilitator, Dr. Shewa Ajayi, is here also as well, and is here to help provide us with answers. So at the end of the video session, if there are any questions that needs to be answered, Dr. Ajayi will be here also to handle that. Before I turn things over and we begin to watch the video. I just want to mention I do have a hard stop at 10:30. So what I've done is to make Dr. Sheung and Mr. Ninsima, I am the host. All right. So as soon as the session is over, Please do well. I mean, we can go ahead and stop the recording and also go ahead and stop the meeting. All right. So we'll take the video, and then Dr. Shinwajayi would answer questions. I will still be here. I may not just be here fully 100% like I've always been in the previous weeks because I need to join another meeting as well. So the video, Dr. Shin will answer any questions anybody has, and if I'm available, I'll be here to wrap up the meeting. If not, we can go ahead and either Dr. Ajayi or Mr. Iron and Nsima can go ahead and wrap up the meeting for us. All right, so I'll go ahead and play the video, and then if you have any questions, put in the chat. Dr. Shehu Ajayi will be here to answer questions for us at the end of the session. Have yourself a wonderful.
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be on this platform today. My name is Esnart Mfune, and today I will be sharing with you a little bit about obtaining recommendations and how that could support towards your academic success. A special thank you to Dr. Ajayi for extending the invitation for me to be able to share my experience as well as my journey of how I was able to get my recommendations and what I feel like somebody else can benefit from my own experience and my own journey. And also a special thank you to the organizers of this platform. I feel this is an opportunity in the community where a lot of people can grow based off what they're looking for in terms of trying to get enrollment into various institutions, especially if your intention is to study abroad, and also the path towards seeking various assistance, such as scholarships. So, this is a great opportunity. I'm excited about it. I was trying to share the word to as many people as I can. And I hope the community keeps growing because this is beneficial. And also for the speakers that have volunteered to share their experiences and their journey, thank you so much for your time. I know it takes a lot of time to share. Not a lot of people are comfortable to share their story and their journey. Thank you so much that you've taken on the ability to share your own journey so that other people can be inspired by your own journey and your own success. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so today I'm going to be sharing on how to obtain great recommendations and academic support, especially from people that we trust, from people that know us, from people that know what we're looking for, especially in terms of academics. It's always important to reach out to people that understand what our dreams are, what our goals are. So today, as I'm going to be sharing my story, I'm going to be also highlighting a few things that you might want to take note of as you are navigating this roadmap to getting into various academic institutions. Okay, so technology is always interesting. I was trying to navigate a few things I wasn't going through, but here we are. So, just a little bit about me. My name is Esnart Mfune, and I am an international doctoral student from Malawi. I'm pursuing a PhD in educational studies, and my concentration is community based action research. My research focuses on early childhood education and strategies for ensuring education continuity during emergencies. And I'm also an American Association of University Women Fellow. A little bit about my education. I hold a bachelor's degree in mass communication from African Bible College in Malawi, and I graduated class of 2013. I also have a master's degree, which I obtained from the University of Cincinnati, where I'm actually currently studying. And I got this master's degree in 2020. And currently, I'm studying for my PhD in educational studies as well at the same university, University of Cincinnati. So my journey, let me just take you a little bit way back to my undergraduate program. The institution where I went to for my undergraduate program was an institution that was set up by an American family. So everything that we were using in that school was tailored to the American system. By the time I was in my third year, I had had a lot of conversations with so many people about studying abroad. We had people that would come in and talk about how you can get opportunities to study abroad. They were talking about TOEFL, they were talking about writing the English test. So by the time I was in my fourth year, going towards my graduation, I already knew exactly what I wanted to do. I did want to pursue graduate studies, but I was telling myself that I needed a little bit of time to get into the industry first, and then I could come back into academia. Okay, so I did have an idea of what it requires to get into an American system because the system that I was using back home was the same American system. Okay, by the time I had decided that I wanted to get into graduate school, I had at least worked for 3 years. I worked for academic institutions. I think all my work has been in academia. When I graduated from my undergraduate program, I was employed by my university to work at the university. So, right after my graduation, I got into academia right at the start. And then a few years, I resigned to look for other opportunities. The position that I was looking at was also from an academic institution, just different levels of academic institution. So throughout my journey, I have worked in academia. Currently, I'm a student, but I also teach as a graduate assistant. So I've had like about 10 years or 11 years of working in academia while I'm also pursuing my own studies. So just to get in a little bit more, like I was saying, by the time I had decided that I wanted to get into academia, I had built relationships, first of all, from my school with my various instructors, my various professors, lecturers, on who I would opt for when I want somebody to put word for me. Okay, I think that's where I had started. So I built those relationships with my professors, and then I built relationships with mentors who were outside my academia. These are just people that I looked up to because at the back of my head, I would also need people that are my mentors to put in word for me. So my word is not just coming from academia, it's also coming from a different set of people. And these are people that probably have various expertise, or people that I would say have an idea of who I am. Okay? So that's another set of people that I had. And then when I started work, like I said, I had worked for at least 3 to 4 years by the time I was getting into graduate school. And this was me just in the industry through while still attached to education. In those spaces where I was working, I was also intentionally building relationships for my work, which are completely separate from my academia. So if you're listening through, I've currently mentioned three sets of people. I've mentioned the people that I'm working with in terms of academia. I'm mentioning people that I'm working with in terms of mentors. And I'm also mentioning people that I'm working with in terms of my own career. Okay? So one of the things that I was telling myself is to build these relationships because I believed these relationships would be solid in my applications for school. Okay? And that's what brings me to the first point. I think as you're navigating your journey right now, one of the things I would encourage you to do is to build relationships early. I know most of us are probably, maybe some are still in pursuing their bachelor's, but for people that have probably maybe graduated already, but you're still, it's not too late. Those people that are currently maybe studying for their undergraduate program, I think this is a perfect time for you. If you don't have those trusted relationships with some of the people that I've mentioned, maybe this is the time you want to start navigating that and trying to find like who is who for you. Okay, so build relationships early. So engage with professors, supervisors, or research mentors well before you need a recommendation. You can attend office hours, participate in research, and maybe seek feedback on your work. Okay. The reason why building relationships early is important is because by the time you're reaching out to somebody to issue you a recommendation letter, they will be in a position to write you a personalized recommendation because they know you. It's different with somebody that doesn't know me or doesn't know you. If I reach out to them, most of the times we end up writing or drafting something that we want them to write for us because they don't know us. Okay, so if I take a course today and maybe I wasn't participating in that course, it's hard for me to reach out to a professor and ask for a recommendation because I might have been in that class, but my engagement with that person might have not been something that is very close. So, as you're seeking for recommendations, as you're seeking for support, make sure that you're investing because you can't just reach out to everybody. You want to build a network that is going to put in the word for you, whether you're present in that room, because sometimes a recommender can call the person, and if the person is not even sure who you are, it's hard for them to give personalized recommendations. So you need to build those relationships. You need to be in constant. The only time you're reaching out to people should not be during the time when you need the recommendations. Invest in those relationships because those are the relationships or the networks that you're going to be needing for you to move forward. Okay. I am a believer myself, and one of the words that we constantly use is destiny helpers. When you're looking at building relationships, we're looking at destiny helpers. Your destiny helper is somebody that is going to put in a word for you, somebody that is going to stand up for you, somebody that is going to say, hey, you know what? Even when they know that they're not very sure, but they know that, okay, well, maybe you have certain strengths that are easy to nurture. If they're looking for somebody who maybe, let's say, a school is looking, they have a position, but they're looking for a certain skill set that you probably do not have. If somebody knows you too well, they might speak word on your behalf, even though you're not the fit for that particular position. Okay? So build relationships early. That will make the process for you even easier. That way you're not running back and forth thinking, who am I going to reach out to? Or maybe let me draft my recommendation later. It's okay. Some people prefer you doing that for yourself. But I always say if you have those established relationships, people know you so well that they will write a recommendation later that you yourself will think twice like, is this really me or this is somebody else they're talking about? But that can only happen if the people that you are reaching out to know you. Okay. And then the other thing that I can think of is I encourage people to categorize their recommenders. Okay. This means you sitting down and asking yourself, what are the things that I need for a particular application? Okay. Most of the schools, when you start their application process, towards the end, they will ask you either an email, a phone number of people that they can speak to, that can vouch that the things that you have included in that application are true about you. Okay. So I always tell people to sit down and maybe make a list of the things that you're looking for. So, for instance, if you're applying to study abroad, that means for that academic application, the first thing you're looking for is people that are going to speak for you academically. So, these are people like professors, people that have seen you through the journey of school. Okay? So you reach out, you list maybe two or three professors that you've built a solid relationship with that can speak for you for all the applications that you write. They could be the people that you reach out to speak on your behalf for academia. Okay? And then also that comes to the next option. If you're looking for assistantships within the school that are associated probably with your academic position, you also want somebody who you have maybe worked with or somebody that understands your work ethics. Because most of the assistantship comes with an opportunity for you to maybe work. So this is going to be something different from somebody that understands you from a classroom set, okay? Some professors might be people you've worked with on different projects, so they could balance for both academia and work. But there are certain people that you want to separate because they have an understanding of you from a different field, okay? And then also comes to people that are going to be supporting your visa application, for instance. Your professor or somebody you've worked with might not be the people that would give in like very solid word for you when applying for a visa. So you might look around the people, maybe your mentors would be the people that you would want to reach out to and say, hey, I'm applying for a visa. I'm trying to get enrolled into a school. And I was wondering, like, would you support me with a recommendation letter? Those are the people that you would want to reach out to. I understand sometimes when people are navigating the journey of transitioning from work to school, you might have not resigned at your current work, and depending on the nature of relationships you have with your supervisors, maybe talking about a visa would not be the right position for you to do. So your mentees, your mentors would be the right people for you to reach out to and talk about a visa. And then there are also other people that probably don't know you from a different stance. People from the community, people from places where you volunteer, religious people, and just friends that we've made along the way. I do have friends right now that are professors. Sometimes, if I want a recommendation, I reach out to them because I know they're in that position to do that. I have friends right now that own companies. Sometimes I would reach out to them and say, hey, we've worked together in this capacity. I wanted you to put in word for me. Okay? So categorize your recommenders. That will make it easier for you to reach out to who based on the need of the application that you're looking for. If you bunch people in one group, one might be all over the place in terms of writing your application because they're trying to find a bridge of either your work and your academia and something else that you're asking for, but they're not meeting that. So, kind of separating them gives it a more strength when the application is coming out because then somebody's focused on certain areas that you're looking for. Okay? And then the other thing that I could also talk about would be communicating your goals. Like I said in the beginning, building a relationship with people helps the people that you're reaching out to write a personalized recommendation for you. A personalized recommendation can only come in when somebody understands who you are. And that could be based off how you've networked with them. But also at the end of the day, you want to communicate to people what you're looking for. Okay? So, clearly explaining your graduate school ambitions and why you are seeking those recommendations would be very much helpful because at the end of the day, the people you're reaching out to for the recommendations might also be in a position to provide you with guidance because these are people that know you, they know your strengths, they know your weaknesses, they have seen you, they know how well you can go, how much you can cope with certain things. They are in a position to provide you with guidance. There might be people that have gone through the same journey as what you're trying to pursue, or there might be people that are just passionate about the things you are passionate for. Okay, so communicate your goals to people, be very clear, and just be honest to them. This is what I'm looking for. Hear what they'll have to share with you. Like, what are some of the things that they would put into your application as you're trying to navigate that journey? If your goals are not communicated, people will only go this far for you because they'll just say, okay, it's an application. This is all I can talk about. But if your goals are very clear of what you want, you're giving people even more power to write something that is going to be more solid for you, and that is going to give you even better chances for the application you're trying to make. Okay? The other thing that I could talk about would be providing supporting materials. As you're working on applications, it's always important to have documents that are going to be supporting you in various areas, especially documents that are updated. You don't want, for instance, I graduated from my bachelor's in 2013 and then my master's in 2020. Then currently I should be holding on to maybe a curriculum vitae from 2020. This is 2025. So at least every 2 months, check your CV and just see, is there something that has changed? There's a lot of people doing so many things out there that can support or be an instrument to their CV and their application. Try fill that in. But that can only be done if you're constantly updating your documents. So it's important that you share your resume, for instance, a transcript, a draft of your statement of purpose to help your recommenders write a more detailed and a personalized letter. Okay? When people know what you're looking for, like I said, communicating your goals, when they personalize your recommendation because you build a relationship with them, provide them with more materials. If somebody knows me and I know that this is the person that I'm trusting to help me through this application process, I would create a folder. That folder, I would send it to them so they know that anytime I'm looking for my transcript, if they want to talk about my GPA, for instance, in an application, they don't have to start emailing me back. They can just pull up my records and look at that. Okay. If you're looking for my resume, sometimes maybe somebody forgot a little bit information about me. It's easy when they pull out your resume and look at some of the things that maybe you didn't even think would benefit your application. So, providing your recommenders with updated supporting materials is very important because now you're even giving them more power to say, okay, these are some of the things that I have done, but maybe you couldn't fit them into your application. You give that room for them to fit in their recommendation letter, that way supporting your application even more. Okay. The people that I had worked with before, when I go to a different place, I would send them my CV and just tell them that this is what I'm doing right now. Or sometimes I would get on a phone call and just, like I said, invest in the people that are going to be writing recommendations for you. Okay, so every step of the way, they know what's going on in your life. Some people have had like very solid networks with people that are the recommenders, that they are everywhere in their life. If you're going from one step of your life to another, they know what's going on in your life, even your personal life. If that's something that you want to share, it's okay. People will be talking about, oh, this person is not just this, but they're also a good father, they're also a good husband, they're also a good person at church. Maybe they do this, you're a Sunday school teacher, or maybe you're a good person in the community. This is what you do for volunteer work. This is something that maybe you might think has nothing to do with an application, but based on maybe a position that you're applying for, that would be information that would be vital. So invite people into your story, into your journey, by not just building the relationship, not just communicating your goals, but also being in a position to say, this is what I have done, it's documented. I want you to hold on to this. I trust that I can share my documents with you. These are the documents that you can look at as you're helping me draft or write a recommendation later. Okay? As a graduate assistant, one of the things that I do is to teach. So I teach students from first year to fourth year in my program. I have had students reach out to me asking for recommendation letters. Okay? When my students, so I try as much as possible to build that relationship with them. I intentionally build that relationship with them so that when they walk out of my course, they know that they can always come back to me and ask for a recommendation if they need it. I've had to write out recommendation for some of my students that maybe are transferring or they're getting into an organization within the school. I've had an opportunity to do that because I've created that relationship with them. Some have sent me their resumes, some have sent me their transcripts, some have even told me, I would like you to use the grade that I had from your class for my application. So they've given me that permission to do that. So if you create that rapport with people, it gives them an opportunity to be not so rigid with their recommendation. There's certain recommendations when you look at, you be like, oh, they just wanted to write a recommendation. But there's certain recommendations that you look at and you read them and you know that, okay, this person really wants this applicant to get the position. Okay? Those kind of recommendation only come out if people know you, if you've communicated your goals, and if people have enough materials that they can fall on to help you strengthen your application. And then the other thing that I'm going to share on is on giving recommenders several weeks of notice and providing clear deadlines and submission instructions. I think one of the things that, from coming in from a different culture to a different culture, people are very particular about time. Okay? Respecting people's time is a translation that you're respecting them. So, the people that we reach out to seeking for recommendations are people that have their own lives, which means they have other things that are of priority to them. Okay? So, which means if we are requesting for recommendations, we're just requesting for something extra to the priorities that they already have in their own lives. So, I always encourage people, if you know you're going to be wanting or seeking an application, ask in advance. I always joke with my friends from who constantly maybe applying for the chevening a fellowship, to say everybody knows that chevening opens sometime in August. You cannot start sending out emails to people to say, I'm looking for a recommendation the month end of July, hoping for August to get a recommendation later. What if you start in May to start sending out word that I'm going to be asking for a recommendation, or maybe even 6 months in advance? That way you have everything, all the materials that you need, and then you just complete your application because all the recommendation letters are with you. Some institutions might not want you to send the recommendations yourself. They might want the person to send the recommendations, and that would make your application be pending to when the person submits your application. So you want to do those things in advance. I know sometimes certain things might come up, but reaching out to people in advance is not just a sign of respect, but also giving them time to plan to where they can fit you into their busy schedule. Okay? So reaching out to people in time, it allows them an opportunity to plan. If somebody does something hastily, sometimes they might also write you a bad recommendation or not something very strong because they were doing it in a hurry. So maybe reaching out to people in advance constantly, like I said, if you stay in touch with people and people know what's happening in your life, it's even easy for them to know. Sometimes I've had my recommenders asking me, don't you have any application that you want to make this time? And sometimes really I don't have like anything that I'm applying for, but they're just asking because I'm constantly saying, this is what I'm doing, this is what I want to do, this is where I want to go. So they have an idea of where I'm at in my life. And it's easy for them to also either chip in and ask you. Sometimes they would also share opportunities and say, did you see this opportunity? And you'd be like, oh, I didn't see it. Okay, go ahead and apply, and I'll send out the recommendation for you. And then also asking in person or through detailed emailing is also important. I've always found, depending on where I'm at in the world, because the world, everybody is everywhere these days. If you are in close proximity with somebody, I always encourage people, reach out to people in person, ask for recommendations, and then follow it through with an email. Okay? But you can't be shooting people emails left, right, and center when you haven't checked on them in months, and the only time you're coming back is to ask them for a recommendation. So stay in touch, and then it's easy for you to come back and say, oh, You know what? I forgot the other day we were talking that I also wanted to ask you to see if you are in a position to help me write a recommendation letter. Okay? So ask people in person if you can, or if they're in close proximity with you. If these are people that you can pick up a phone call and do so. But also make sure that you leave something written so that it serves as a reminder for them. Um, Depending on how the relationship is with you and the person that you're reaching out to, I could encourage you to send like a friendly reminder, either through a text or through a phone call or through an email, just to remind them that you're getting closer to the dates that you're going to be needing an application. Um, some people are very particular about the time frame that they need. Somebody might say, "Oh, maybe you remind me in 2 weeks in advance. Remind me in a month time." Be the person that is going to be in charge because it's your application. They're only doing you a favor. So if somebody's doing you a favor, you have to take on that position to say, I'm going to quickly do it because they're only doing me a favor. So you be on top of everything. They don't have to be on top of everything for you. Okay? And then the last thing that I would share on is trusting the process. Applying for graduate school, especially abroad, is such a tiring process because it's long. So first, the process is lengthy. There's a lot of things that you have to do to prepare yourself. You have to prepare yourself mentally, you have to prepare yourself physically, you have to prepare yourself psychologically, you have to be willing to learn and to unlearn things. And you also have, more importantly, you have to prepare yourself financially because applying for school means you are investing. Okay? You cannot start plucking out fruits from an investment from the get go. So, as you're applying for school, just know that it is an investment you're making. A lot of my friends that I've seen trying to navigate school, every time they see an application somewhere, they get discouraged because there's a fee attached to it. But understand that applying for school means you have to have some form of funds to support your application because there are some applications that will need you to pay. There are some applications that might waive your application. So, based on where you're applying and to what you're applying for, the process might be different. Okay? The other thing I might say is be vigilant. That means you have to be on top of things. We are in a world where people would make money off each other based off one's lack of knowledge. So you have to be vigilant. If you're applying for a school, is a school legit that you're applying for? If a school is reaching out to you and say, hey, send us maybe $5,000, you should be weighing like, okay, is this a real school or this is not? Because you don't want to find yourself in a situation where you've taken all your investments, all your savings, all your earnings, and then send out to somebody out there who is positioning themselves as a school, and then those funds disappear, but you don't get into school. So be vigilant. If you don't know, ask, reach out. There's a lot of people that are willing to share with you what they know. Reach out and ask them questions. Verify if a school that you're applying for is legit before you make any form of payments. Make sure that you know it is a legit school. Is it an accredited school? Because you also want to go to a school that is accredited. You don't just want to go into a school and then 2 months down, 2 years down the line, the school is not even registered. Okay? The other thing is always have a plan or a backup plan because if you're reaching out to people who are going to be your recommenders to support you through your application process, sometimes the people you're trusting to help you at that time might not be available for so many reasons. Okay? They might be willing to support you, but might not just be available at that time. So you always have to have a plan B. What am I going to do next? If you're applying for a school, you cannot just apply to one school. at least apply to maybe 3 schools, so that if you don't get picked on this school or they give you certain excuses, you can reach out to a different school. If you're reaching out to recommenders, reach out to at least maybe two, so that if one says, oh, I can't do it this time, you have another person as a backup for you to reach out to. Okay, you're better off having a lot of stuff, maybe a lot of letters of recommendation, than having zero. So reaching out to many people does not harm. It gives you and puts you at a place where it's easy for you in case something doesn't work out. And then lastly, what I would share on is create a trusted community. We're very lucky today that we live in a world where social media or digital life is very alive. It's easy to find platforms that are going to share with you on various people's journey in terms of navigating graduate school, especially if you're an international student studying abroad. Find a community that you can trust, especially communities that have people with trusted or result oriented. Okay, there's a lot of communities out there, but you want to find something that aligns with your beliefs, aligns with the things you're looking for, and aligns with the journey that you want to take as an individual. Okay, that community will be a safe space for you because they will provide you with materials that will support you that you cannot find anywhere else. There are people that have literally drafted or shared their own personal statements that they use for the applications. I've seen people send out sample letters of an application that they used maybe to get into a school or to get a scholarship, or people sharing formats or samples of their own emails that they sent out to various people. So create that trusted community. It's going to be your fallback. If you have questions, if you have queries, those are going to be the people that you can reach out to and ask even the most difficult questions. Sometimes I ask the most dumb questions to people. Like, I don't know. Google is not going to give you all the answers sometimes. So having real people that you can ask is an advantage. And I would encourage you that this platform has been an opportunity, I think, since we've started. And I'm also looking at the next speakers coming through. Stick around and learn something, write down something, reach out to the people that come on the platform, because that is the only way you can build that community. That is the only way you'll be building trusted mentors. There's people that are going to be coming here that are far gone in this process. They're probably working, people that are in different positions. Those are the people you want to tap into their expertise, because they have walked through the journey that you are planning to walk. Okay, and then after all is said and done, believing in yourself and believe in the things that strengthen your spirit. Believing in yourself first will take you far, because you know yourself better than anybody else. So believe in yourself that you can do it. If another person was able to do it, if I did it, you too can do it. Okay, so believe in yourself, believe in your strength, believe in your passions, believe in your expertise. Our journeys, we might not have the same things that we're studying, but our dream might be going towards the same direction. So believe in yourself. And then one of the things that gave me strength as I was applying was my church. I used to pray about my studies for a long time. So I had something that was inspiring me, and I kept going back and said, I am standing on the promises that God has made for me. And I would say that sometimes people would make fun of it, like, oh, it's just school you're applying. I'm like, yeah, I'm still trusting God, because I'm trusting God for the fans. I'm trusting God that these applications, sometimes there's thousands of people applying. I need to be somebody that is going to stand out in that application. So whatever you believe in, trust in that. Okay. And then lastly, I'm more than happy to share my email. if you would like to reach out to me and ask further questions, since I wasn't on the live session, please do not be strangers. I would like to build a community with all of you. I'm more than happy to share the little things that I know. You can reach out to me through my email, or you can follow me on LinkedIn, and we can continue from where I have left today. Thank you so much once again for your attention, and thank you so much for allowing me the space on this platform. Stay blessed, and I'm looking forward to seeing you or for the next coming speakers. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation. If anyone has a question, you can leave it in the comment section or the chat box, then it will be answered. Thank you. Anyone with a question?
What do you mean by abort? Is that what you mean? Please provide clarification. Please, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask. To the last question, that's not clear enough, but what I'm going to say generally is that if you want to choose someone to be your recommender, make sure the person you share professional or academic relationship. You don't want to use anybody that you guys don't have any link and they cannot speak to your qualities, or they cannot speak to your research ability, your academic prowess, or your professional development. So you want to choose people who can speak to at least one of those, who can speak to your character as well. Make sure there is a link between whoever is recommending you and yourself. Yeah. Oh, you mean someone outside of the continent? Yeah, it's okay. You can use anybody outside of the continent. Uh, like I said, they must meet this requirement. You know, do they share any kind of relationship with you? You know, they might not even have taught you, but maybe someone that you guys worked on a paper together, maybe a research online, remote work, or something. That is the most important thing. Make sure they can speak to your character. Again, I don't know if the speaker emphasized this. You don't choose a recommender based on rank. You know, that's not what should uh, decide your choice of recommender. The most important thing is how close or in terms of shared connection that you guys have. That's the most important thing. Yeah. Yeah, that works. That works. Yeah. I saw abroad, so I didn't see that it's abroad. Sorry about that. Right. Any other questions before we wrap up? Any other questions? Please let me know if that question was answered well. If you got the clarity you needed. All right, so I think Piotto, I don't know if I pronounce your name very well. I think I like this your question. The person recommending you must not necessarily be in academia, but like I said, you guys must share relationship. It could be academic or professional. But this is a caveat. Sometimes some schools will emphasize. For example, a school might say, we need 3 referees, and 2 of the referees must be in academic setting. Then you must always go with any prompt they put. So always check the prompt. So why some other, what's it called? Like the Chevening scholarship now, they don't care about you putting anybody in academia. The most important thing is that the person must share professional relationship with you. So it depends on institution, and it depends on maybe the kind of scholarship you're applying to. But there is no rule that the person providing recommendation letter to you must be in academia, except if the institution or the scholarship that you're applying to specify that in their requirements. So always check the requirements. Please, Piotto, let me know if that question was answered. All right, thank you everyone for joining today. Nisima, do you want to round up for us so that we can prepare for next week's session?
Well, thank you, Doctor. I want to appreciate everyone who has been on this week's session. Some people are very new because I had to go along and place the link in other groups that I had from case from other groups. So I want to thank you, everyone who has joined us today. But make sure that you go back and re-listen to the previous sessions that we've had, they'll totally add up with what we have talked about today. Thank you very much. Have a blessed week. And make sure that next week you also attend so that we can keep on adding on this knowledge that we have shared today. Thank you very much.
All right, bye everyone. See you next